So, good morning, children. Let us continue. So, we were discussing about the five kingdoms of classification, and we have discussed about the three basic kingdoms: Monera, Protista, and Fungi. So, today let us begin with the next kingdom, Plantae. Okay, now what are plants? Plants, as you all know, what are all plants by nature? They are all autotrophic. Of course, the basic characteristic, they are eukaryotes, multicellular, having a cell wall. But unlike fungi, where their cell wall is made up of chitin, plant cell wall is made up of cellulose. Okay, and they are photosynthetic or autotrophic, but sedentary, which cannot move from one place to another. So the complete plant kingdom is again broadly divided into two groups. What are they? The first group is cryptogams or cryptogame, and the second group is phanerogams or phanerogame. Now, this division of plants into two categories is done based on their mode of reproduction. The first main criteria to divide the plants is based on what? Reproduction. How do they reproduce? Now, these cryptogams, the name itself says crypto, hidden. Okay, so these reproduce by spores, and whereas phanerogams reproduce through seeds. Okay, children. So now let us in brief discuss about these subdivisions of plantae. Now the first, that is cryptogams. Now as the name itself says, crypto means hidden. So they don't have any clearly visible reproductive structures. The reproductive structures are spores which are very deeply hidden. That's why the name cryptogame. And you can say the cryptogams are the first formed plants. So they do not bear any flowers and seeds. They reproduce through spores, and they are preferably grow in a moist environment. That's it, where there is a water content. Now these again cryptogams are further divided based on their body design. So these cryptogams are of again three types: Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta. Now let us move to the next one, where we will discuss a little more about these cryptogams. Now the first subdivision under cryptogams is what? Thallophyta. Thallus, as the name says, it means a body structure, but which is not being differentiated. You can say the first formed plants are called as what? Thallophyta, which were preferably aquatic. Okay, they grew in which media? Water media. They preferred a very good aquatic media where there was abundant water. Now these Thallophyta do not have a differentiated body. Generally a plant has three main parts: the stem, roots and leaves, which are missing in this plants, in this first group of plantae, that is Thallophyta. Obviously, when there are no stems and roots, even they do not have any vascular tissues or xylem and phloem. Preferably they are unicellular to multicellular, which are single-celled. Maybe these single-cell structures present together, and they appear more or less fiber-like. And these Thallophyta do not reproduce by any sexual mode. They undergo reproduction by asexual means. Like let us take up examples: Spirogyra, which you are all familiar as slime mold, isn't it? Or which is also known as scum. Okay, water scum. So this reproduces by fragmentation, that is dividing its body into many smaller pieces of fragments, and they have a reserve food made up of starch. Okay, children. And then how do they reproduce? By fragmentation. Of course, since they are plants, they are photosynthetic, that is autotrophic, and they have a body which is very soft, undifferentiated fiber, like long thread like. Okay, so we can say this group includes basically the algae, fungi and lichens. Now fungi, of course, we are studying under separate kingdom. Algae are studied, are all varieties of algae have been placed under this subdivision of plantae called as Thallophyta. Okay, now let us move to the next cryptogame, that is bryophytes. Now these bryophytes are given a title as amphibians of plant kingdom. So as the name itself says, amphibians, you all have learnt what are amphibians, which can survive both on water and on land. Yes, so slowly you can say that the evolution occurred wherein the plants started moving towards the land. But then they could not completely do away with water. So these bryophytes fall in between the thallophytes, which were the true aquatic plants, and the next group, that is pteridophytes, which were the true land plants. So bryophytes needed water as well as land for their survival. And why did they need water? The need of water was for the process of reproduction. Okay, children. So these again are the simple plants which have a smaller, minute structures. Very often you must have seen these structures growing during rainy season on the walls, isn't it, children? Having fine hair-like structures. So these are nothing but your bryophytes, which are commonly called as moss. Okay. Now they appear like fine grass. How are they? They are not unlike Thallophyta, where they do not have a body differentiated into stem, leaves, and roots. These have stem, not stem of course, but leaf-like structures and root-like structures called as rhizoids. Okay, so the stem part is also called as thallus, shoot part, and the root part is called as water rhizoid. So we see the initial development into root and shoot part. But then they don't have any transport media. And what is the transport media? That is vascular bundle. Okay, so then how does water and minerals absorb? Only by the major process of osmosis and diffusion. Okay, children. So, and these don't have a true leaves, but they have similar structures like leaf. And if you observe this image, they have spores present on the, maybe on this thallus, or if not on the thallus, they may have a stalk arising from these leaves, which is called as the setae. And this bulged part is called as a capsule, which will contain the spores. So if you see, the complete body is divided into two parts, the sporophyte and the gametophyte. Okay, children. So now let us move to the next, that is the pteridophytes. The first true terrestrial plants which entirely grew on land without requirement of water as a media for their survival. They were also called as the vascular cryptogams. I hope you could understand why they were called as vascular cryptogams. Yes, for the first time, the vascular bundles were observed in these plants. Okay, in these terrestrial plants. Now, coming to the habitat, of course, land, but preferably in the cool and the moist areas. So that's why we often find them in the hilly areas. Now, as the name itself says, they are having vascular bundle. But then the vascular bundle does not contain all the cells. Like the xylem, the vessels are absent. That is, the trachea and the vessels are trachea are absent. Whereas in phloem, the companion cells are absent. So you can say the first appearance of vascular bundles is in pteridophytes. Now let us discuss about other common features of this plants. Here, as we said, true plants, so they had a properly developed root shoot system. Then they has the true roots and stems which bore leaves. Okay, now Then coming to their mode of reproduction, they reproduce by, of course, as these cryptogams are grouped only because of their mode of reproduction, that is through spores. Now these spores, if you observe, they are present on the backside of these leaf-like structures. Now these leaf-like structures are called as what? Fronds, which will be coiled in the initial stage, but they uncoil as they start maturing. Okay, children. So these spores are present on the backside of this fine leaf-like structures, and these are called as sories. Okay, so some more examples of these are, now the image what you are seeing is of a fern. Fern is an example of pteridophyte, which is often grown as a terrestrial as a ornamental plant, and these are some more examples of what of the pteridophytes. Okay, children. So now just in brief, let us see the major difference between all the three subdivisions of kingdom of Thallophyta. So first, that is Thallophyta. It is a thallus, that is only a flattened body with no root and shoot system. Here they show stem-like, root-like and leaf-like structures. They have well developed a true stem, root and leaf. Then another major difference, they do not have any vascular system. They are multicellular. Okay. Then they also do not have a vascular system. They have a true vascular system. Okay, children. So this is about the major differences between the first division of plantae, that is cryptogamy. Okay, children. So I hope we are clear with this. In the next session, we'll talk about the next division of plantae, that is phanerogams. Thank you. Have a good day.